Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Alex Treadway, and I'm the Associate Publisher for RAB 50, a division of Government Executive Media Group. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to today's webcast, Digital Services for Community Supervision Programs, presented by Cisco. A growing number of states and local jurisdictions are looking for more holistic ways to reduce recidivism and effectively supervise formerly incarcerated people who are released on parole and probation, or under community supervision programs. This includes exploring the use of technology upon release. To get a better sense of current capabilities, Government Business Council polled a random sample of 134 state and local respondents in October of 2020. We'll be discussing that and more during today's webcast. Joining us again is Daniel L. Stewart with Cisco, who has been a part of our Connected Justice series all along. Please set the stage for us.
Hi, Alex. It's great to be with you again, and really happy that Cisco has teamed up with TrackTech to move forward with their solution as part of our Justice Solution platform. And I think that the audience is going to hear some really interesting things today about the dynamics of the change within probation, parole, community supervision, drug courts, other types of alternatives to incarceration. I'm excited about it. I'll send it back to you to talk with TrackTech.
Wonderful. And also joining us today are Lori Mercer, Director of Business Development with TrackTech, Ben Williams, Chief Alliance Officer with TrackTech, and Daniel Thomas, Director for Research and Strategic Insights with the Government Executive Media Group. Thank you all for joining us, and let's kick it off with some background from Daniel Thomas. Daniel, take it away.
Thank you, Alex. I'd like to share my screen now with everyone and show you some of the data that we recently collected. So this is a flash poll that we recently fielded to our government audience of state and local government officials. We fielded this poll in October, and it informs much of the context and the discussion that we're going to have today on this topic. So without further ado, I'd like to show you some of the questions we asked and what data we collected. So we polled 134 respondents. The poll went out in October of this year. And the topic was on the ways that recidivism can be reduced among the incarcerated community and how technology can help in that effort. For our first question, we had respondents respond to the statement that you see here. The statement was, equipping people released on parole and probation or community supervision programs with technology to attend programs and meet with their caseworkers would benefit their long-term outcomes. The data that we see here is that overwhelmingly, respondents believe that technology can help lower recidivism rates among those under caseworker supervision. 67% agree with that sentiment versus 13% who are neutral and 20% who disagreed. We had that same statement again, but we tweaked it a little this next time. Equipping people released on parole and probation or community supervision programs with technology to attend programs and meet with their caseworkers would make the criminal justice system better at its mission. Again, you see similar findings here. 17% disagreed, 16% are neutral, but then you have 2 and 3 respondents who agree with that sentiment. And finally, the third question we asked was, how do you feel about the use of alternative tracking technologies, such as a GPS locator in a smart device that could replace the use of ankle bracelets for those seeking reintegration into society? 26% opposed that. We had another 22% who were undecided or neutral. And then we had 52% who supported that effort. So what this is telling us is that overall, the respondent base we polled is open to reforming efforts by including technology that could potentially help lower recidivism rates among those under caseworker supervision. We have a great discussion today, and so I'm going to let these gentlemen get right back to it. Back to you, Alex.
We are excited to start talking about some of these points with this great set of panelists. Let's start off with poll question number 1. 2 out of 3 respondents believe that providing technology could help lower recidivism rates among those under caseworker supervision. Perhaps many of you attending the session today have examples where your agency or department are demonstrating positive results using technology. Let's turn to Ben and Lori from TrackTech and ask them how your technology solutions can lower recidivism rates for individuals under community supervision.
Thank you, Alex, Daniel, and Thomas. Appreciate that as well. We are, first and foremost, very proud to be a Cisco partner and part of the Connected Justice portfolio. And as part of that effort, we have developed an innovative mobile supervision and rehabilitation platform that's been designed with 3 key objectives in mind. The first is to improve client engagement and enablement. The second is to increase an individual's access to rehabilitative programs and community-based resources. And lastly, we're looking to help agencies and organizations expand their operational efficiencies and effectiveness. All of these things are geared towards reducing recidivism and enhancing public safety. There are a few key pieces of functionality in the TrackTech solution, and they directly correlate to this end. Lori, would you say a little bit more about this, please?
Sure, thanks, Ben. We got to start first with access to a variety of communication mechanisms. This is really important and enables clients to reliably connect with their supervisors and supports that they need, and also during really times of acute stress. Those who have an interest in seeing an individual be successful under community supervision, they can use that solution to collaborate and support the client, provide services, upload progress reports, and really providing relevant case management information in real time. TrackTech also offers flexible reporting tools. They're adaptable to the risk level, case plan, or situations where physical office locations are closed. So clients can report or remain in contact with their caseworkers or rehabilitative support workers using SMS functionality, video, or email within the application from their own mobile device. So in addition, the reporting requirements can be met using scheduled mobile check-ins with or without a self-report questionnaire that can be customized by the agency themselves. Also, the importance of information sharing and upload functionality. That really streamlines processes for the agencies, enables the clients to actually have the access to the important documents and information that they need. The couple examples would be copy of their legal documents. Having that digitally available to them in the app is really important for those who basically need to provide that information to a law enforcement officer if they're pulled over, if it's a part of their condition of supervision or release. Or the ability to access travel permits or amend them as needed without actually having to go into the office to see the caseworker for that change. Or the ability to provide verification of employment or proof of AA attendance with the ability to upload a photo or document into the solution. There's also the increase in the accessibility and availability of programs and services to the community supervision clients, and that's to address their criminogenic factors. What we know and what research has told us that the clients are at most risk to relapse or reoffend during their transition from custody to community corrections, sometimes within 30 days at the lowest and up to about 180 days or 6 months. And of course, the heightened needs that they have are actually exacerbated when the physical doors are closed to the services that are intended to help them. So TrackTech has a supportive program built within the app that can really complement or enhance any existing services available. And it really can be used on its own if it's the only option available. So the benefits of app-driven solutions are that they're self-paced and they're available 24/7. And they're really intended to and designed to work in conjunction with any of the existing in-person service providers that they might be accessing within their communities.
That's right, Lori. And it's important to mention. I'm sorry, Alex. I was just going to say that we're not looking at. So I think it's just worth saying, in a very straightforward way, that technology is not here to replace people. And this is increasingly important, I think, when we look at the divide between resources available in rural communities versus urbanized communities. We work with our clients very closely to configure any desired physical service providers or other community resources within the solution. So it's all available in one spot for their clients. And if anything, we work in conjunction with those kinds of departments and those kinds of organizations to increase access and interaction between the clients and the agency and further justify the need for those in-person services. We're really a technological platform that facilitates a human-centered solution. One great example of this is scheduling software, which is just one small piece really that punches above its weight within our platform. The calendaring and remindering functionality that we offer courts and community corrections organizations have been shown to reduce technical violations by about 25% when used broadly across those operations. We spend over $2 billion a year in this country on locking people up for missing appointments, and that's a waste of of time, effort, and the community's resources. When we look at an average county with a population of 100,000 people, that can rack up costs in excess of $20,000 a day just for the technical violations. Alex, back to you.
Sure. And you did start on this. I'm wondering if there are some other specific use cases that come to mind from your client base to help and share with us today.
Sure. So there's a couple of clients I'd like to point out. One is a large state level youth services organization that provides counseling and ensures accountability of a number of youth coming from backgrounds of significant trauma and other kind of life circumstances. Especially since the COVID crisis has hit us, and the ability to connect to these clients face to face as much as they used to has diminished to some degree. We've enabled them to use the multiple modes of communication with our platforms to engage those clients more consistently and be well aware of not only the issues that they may need to resolve as part of their case plan, but also any of the concerns that might be raised around health or safety of those youth. Within the adult population, with another client, we've enabled them to reduce their windshield time and fleet maintenance expenses significantly, offsetting over $100,000 in those two costs alone. The safety and the personal safety of clients and the agents is of the utmost importance, and we feel very positive about being able to not only increase those qualities, but also allow these agents and officers more time facing their clients and less time driving to get to those meetings or conducting administrative work.
Yeah, and there's a couple of examples that I think are really important to highlight and that I'm really excited about, and that's working with some specialty courts down here in the southern states closer to where I'm. And really, the programs are designed to provide a wraparound service model to the individuals or participants who are involved in those specialty courts. And really, the solution of TrackTech is designed to support that exact function and the workflow. And all those individuals who are interested and responsible or involved to see that person, the program member or participant, be successful through that specialty court program. So I think that they're having that access to the information, they've got the communication mechanisms at their fingertips, and all those people then have all the information that they need at their fingertips in real time to make informed decisions about that person, and also to provide some timely positive feedback and encouraging comments when things are going right. And I don't think we in this organization or in this world of corrections, and I come from corrections, I worked in that background for 20 years, we're really good at catching people doing things wrong, and really technology is designed in such a way to really help catch them doing things right, and that really goes a long way. Another key thing I think around any organization that already has an existing modern offender management system, the TrackTech solution is designed to really plug and play well with other platforms. And so the ability to interface our solution with any existing platform is fairly easy to do, but it also avoids duplicate data entry for staff. So we're working with a couple of provinces in Canada, in fact, where they already have these modern offender management systems, but they're really looking for implementing that mobile supervision technology to improve supervision, the access to rehabilitative resources, and of course, improve outcomes to their client base. So there's just a couple examples to share with the group today, Alex.
Oh, great case studies, thanks. Let's turn to poll question number 2. 66% of respondents believe that providing technology to former inmates under supervision would help the criminal justice system carry out its mission. Based on what I'm hearing from you all so far, I'm sure the folks at TrackTech would concur with the 66% of respondents, but Ben and Lori, what would you say to those 34% who disagree? How can technology improve the criminal justice system and improve outcomes for safer communities?
Well, Alex, the first thing I would do is look at this as holistically as we can. Community corrections is one component of a larger system, and our criminal justice system in its totality is really comprised of 4 major components: a legislative element, law enforcement, courts, and corrections, of which community corrections is a part. And each of these components is a piece in a bigger machine and has a role to play, but ideally it all needs to be working together towards the same overarching goal of increasing public safety and our community's quality of life. This is kind of where we come in, and TrackTech, in partnership with Cisco, provides technology solutions that are supporting a collaborative and integrative approach to help connect to these agencies in and amongst themselves at the individual case management level, as well as at the strategic level, to achieve better outcomes. This is a platform, connected justice, where systems share information appropriately, provide a common operating picture for all of the stakeholders seeking to improve operations and improve the outcomes of their activities. And additionally, we're also looking to help them streamline processes and provide rehabilitative services more effectively. And the technology that we offer is a key to the service delivery, these improved operations and improved outcomes. At the ground level, there's a lot to be said here, and I'm going to let Lori kind of take it from here for a while.
Yeah, so technology really in the criminal justice system really is about ensuring that the courts and agencies stay open, and especially, I guess, during 2020 in particular, when physical doors are closed. I mean, the need for virtual courtrooms and mobile supervision applications is really shown to be a need that these agencies have. And I think when we think about technology, we've got to realize that technology can be used to connect loved ones to their incarcerated families. Technology can enable individuals under community supervision to have 24/7 access to rehabilitative programs for substance abuse and other mental health needs. Technology means digital access, storage, and sharing of important court, investigative, compliance, and case management information. And technology like WebEx Teams, it supports that collaborative approach to helping the clients and to intervene when there's early warning signs of a poor choice. And they can improve the reintegration and reentry planning for those coming back to society from a custodial environment. Technology means putting tools in the hands of the agency staff and other professionals to be able to do their jobs more effectively, and tools in the hands of the clients for self-help, increased accountability, and enhanced communication to their supervising officers and others with the interested in seeing them succeed. Technology provides opportunities to commend the clients, as I mentioned before, for doing things right, for staying on the right track, and a system that really supports that swift, certain, and fair processes. Technology can hold a ton of valuable and critical information too, and our app and our technology platform does just that. And clients really at their fingertips can have access to information in one central place about housing or homeless shelters or employment opportunities or social services that are available, counseling, AA locations, the nearest food bank. Any of those things can be all put in a life support icon for them, really available when they need them in the times that they need them the most. Ben?
That's well said, Lori. It's exciting and really fundamental that the TrackTech product suite can plug and play with other systems within the existing Cisco architecture, as well as those other offender management systems, whatever that system of record or source of truth may be. We're really working hard to make these platforms complementary to one another's functionality. Whether that's using the data to effectively intervene when there are early warning signs of recidivism or relapse, and step in therapeutically or otherwise to take that person back on the right track. But at the end of the day, removing stovepipe for these reentry teams, enabling greater information sharing for agency stakeholders, informed decision making, and better outcomes tend to be the result of that. And while we still believe that, of course, people need to be held accountable while connecting them to resources, they're going to continue to behave most likely in a criminogenic fashion or not have those the progress that we all would want to see unless those factors driving that behavior is addressed. And in a nutshell, if we don't do so, that revolving door is not going to stop revolving. Alex?
You've answered so many, but are there other benefits over there that you could mention?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that I'll take the opportunity to mention, Alex. And I think back, I think mostly to my career in community corrections back in Western Canada, and really implementing any technology solution. I mean, you want to look for some operational efficiencies and improved effectiveness. And the technology platform that we have at TrackTech does offer those automated workflows. It helps highlight and identify tasks or identify clients who need attention and not the ones who don't need attention. And it really is important to how somebody would organize their day. And technology to support evidence-based practice. We've got more effective compliance monitoring. You have access to data where you can identify trends earlier that lead to these negative outcomes. And so you've got that information then to intervene at an earlier time. And the dramatic reduction in administrative task time with technology is huge. I mean, we've had the opportunity to speak to some of our customer base and other agencies where they say 9 to 16 hours a week on average are spent addressing administrative tasks with paperwork. And of course, that takes away from the work they're trying to do in the client-facing time. So I think that it's really important to mention that technology can improve those operations. Caseload optimization or resource allocation. It's important when I think about how big some of the provinces are that I lived in, and some of the states around the U.S., that rural versus urban communities, with technology, you really can centralize the supervision of those cases. You don't necessarily have to live in the community where those individuals are. And specifically for any of those low-risk clients, I mean, being able to just have a mobile check-in or a video chat with them, they don't necessarily have to come into your office. And if you have staff shortages in one office, I mean, it can be compensated in another area using the technology to manage the caseloads and to keep contact and provide services also to those individuals in the communities where they may be limited in what's available to them in their immediate environment. I'll say too, job satisfaction and improved employee engagement. When you got the right tools to do your job, I can remember a time when I had giant pieces of paper where I had to handwrite case notes and sometimes not be able to read the notes of the person who supervised that client before me. It would become very frustrating. So the ability to have all the information at your fingertips would really, I think, improve the job satisfaction for the staff working really hard in this field to make a difference to the people that they supervise. Other than that, I think we've talked about already the revolving door. With any technology solution you want to implement, of course, you want to see the return on the investment. You want to know that if you're spending money on solutions, that they're going to yield positive results. And we can work with any agency about setting those goals or metrics and making sure that they're achieving the objectives that they're intending.
Thank you. Let's jump to poll question number 3. 52% of respondents support using different tracking mechanisms as an alternative to ankle bracelets for those seeking reintegration. For decades, ankle bracelets have been used as a supervision tool for individuals and communities. The technology is limited to dot on a map information. The most common usage for ankle bracelets are to ensure compliance of individuals with curfew restrictions or house arrest conditions of supervision. Even with the technological limitations, ankle bracelets are often mentioned during conversations about de-incarceration and reducing overcrowded jails. It's encouraging that half the folks polled see that a change is needed and alternatives should be explored. Ben and Lori, can you tell us about other alternatives to ankle monitoring?
Sure, Alex. First, it is important to mention that there are some circumstances and particular clients where some form of continuous 24/7 tracking or electronic monitoring is desirable to ensure that these individuals are complying with their conditions of release or supervision. For example, a high-risk sex offender that's being restricted from being near schools, playgrounds, or other kind of community recreation areas, or domestic violence offenders who we've got to keep a safe distance from their victims. But on their own, ankle bracelets won't solve the entire problem of reducing recidivism. And from our discussions that we've had across the country, the majority of the clients who are under supervision, it's really about tracking progress, not people, and giving them the right tools to get on the right track. So I think this is a time in our country and in the evolution of thinking around criminal justice where we can begin to reframe some of these discussions, like discussions about dosage. How much interaction with those staff members is too much? Well, if we look at it from a punitive perspective, it delivers a pretty quick answer, and there's a lot of data out there to say that too much dosage is not helpful. But if we look at dosage from a therapeutic perspective, and when we begin to consider how we can use technology to deliver therapeutic resources more effectively and improve the case management process, enhance access to support throughout the community, it becomes a very different discussion. And that takes a discussion which usually is revolving around GPS and dotting somebody on the map into a question about location services functionality and what that brings to the table around client self-service with regard to check-ins, access to homeless shelters, food banks, or other community-based supports. Daniel, you and I have had a lot of conversations in the past, and from time to time you've offered some really, I think, profound remarks around lived experience and just your time in the trenches in New York. Is there anything you'd like to mention here?
Well, actually, yeah, I think this is one of the most important questions to be finalized. During the pandemic, there was about 4.6 million people on probation and parole, maybe 300,000 or less on an ankle bracelet. And, when it comes to tracking people, that's what we liked at Cisco about Track Tech, was putting people on the right track was the primary objective, getting their lives turned around. And for those that have alcohol and drug issues, and you speak to the homelessness issue, for people that know me, I'm a former homeless vet. I am a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. And when I was back in 1988 in my bad place, we didn't have these technologies available for people. But having them today helps people to be able, to find that way to get that life or be a more productive member of society. I think that the fact that TrackTech has multiple levels of security pieces that the customer can choose from, you can make a handheld device that is issued to an individual replace an ankle bracelet. But that's for that high risk individual. But for the rest of them, it's about, giving them the opportunity to succeed. So, this is why we're excited at Cisco. This is why we're excited about this team that has been put together in this platform, is that it looks at all of those levels of security, all of those different people out there, and finds them a way to find success. And I think that's great. Lori, I think you had some things that you wanted to talk to on this as well.
Well, I think for me, the platform itself we've talked about is about keeping people on the right track and about providing them access to the services. And I think electronic monitoring, as Ben said, does have its place. But I believe there's more. There's so much more to it. And for anybody who works in this field, case plans, supervision plans, success plans, whatever we want to call them, they really need to be designed with the specific needs of the individual in mind. Engaging them in that process. I mean, nobody likes to be told what to do, but if you have a conversation with them and help them identify what their areas of risk are, what their needs are, and more importantly, what they think can be done, if they could have a magic wand, what would be helpful for them to help them get their life on the right track. And what I really like about the solution is that it provides that technological support to have those conversations open, and just seeing a client once a month, once every 2 months, that's not enough. They need to be able to establish a solid relationship with their community supervisor or their agent or their caseworker, and have a platform where it's easy to do that. And when we think about how far communication has come, for those who have teenagers out there, I mean, the conversations that I can initiate through a text that can be followed up with an in-person conversation, I mean, they're irreplaceable at times, where they actually just feel more comfortable with these types of communications. And I love that this technology solution offers the variety of communication to support that relationship, support that rapport building, and to help provide all the supports that a client needs to be successful. We really are shifting the conversation. We're shifting the attitudes. We're realizing that something needs to be done differently if we want to see change happen for those clients, if we want to see that revolving door stop. So I'm really excited to be a part of the team, and appreciate you, Daniel, and all that you've been through and what you bring to the table from world experience, life experience, and also around the connected justice. So thank you.
We're getting to the end of our time. Just any quick few words between Ben, Laurie, Daniel, anything, last questions and thoughts?
One of the interesting things about TrackTech that wasn't discussed today is about victims. And if somebody has a protection order against somebody, and if that person is a high risk, this system also can be used in that, to where you have dynamic geofencing. So instead of not coming to, if Alex, you had a protection order against me, which is a possibility, of course, if you had that protection order against me and I can't come within 300 feet of your home or your work, what happens when we go to the mall? What happens when we're at the shopping center getting groceries? Well, this system actually can help victims to be notified that I am in proximity of you. A person proximity like that is dynamic, and geofencing is really a dynamic piece within this platform as well. And we hadn't mentioned that, but I just wanted to touch on it because our customers really, the lights really go bright when they hear that and they say, wow, victims can actually be helped with this as well. And that's a good thing.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Laurie. What a great conversation. We've reached the end of our time here today. This digital event has been recorded and will be available on the demand on the website. You'll also be receiving the recording via email, and we encourage you to pass it along to your colleagues. On behalf of Cisco and TrackTech, we thank you for joining us today, and we hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See you next time.